All right. Hello. Welcome to Race Brain Podcast. My name is my name is my name. And that's
Wow.
where
That was a great intro.
we're kicking it off. To say my name in the streets, BK.
Am I
What's
saying
up?
your name in the streets?
You better not be.
I'm flooding your name in the streets.
You'll get that Debo treatment.
I got the Debo treatment this weekend. I got reminded.
What up?
Of
What up, BK? What's good?
Got together with the hybrid bully himself, Marcus Wallace, who's looking enormous.
hybrid bully.
Yeah. And we did a workout and he gave me all the work, all of it. I eventually had to tap. It's like, no mas.
His
No mas.
last name is really good to be used as a verb. Like you got Wallaced. That it works.
Yeah.
Jack, what's up with you, dude?
Just getting ready for DEKAFIT in a couple weeks or so, and spent a bunch of time last night figuring out, finally reaching out to all my sources, hearing back from FISO who's going to be there. Rich messages us this morning. He's like, crap, I'm in first place in the draft. I need to find a way to get out of this draft.
We're not doing it.
We're not doing a draft, guys. That's what Rich is like. And Bracken's like, I can do a draft. And I'm like, I can do a draft also. And Rich is like, it's just not happening. So
Not me.
for the
I
record,
haven't lost an international draft this year, and
For
no
the
one
record-
wants the smoke.
I want the smoke.
Of course,
I
you
wanted
do.
to, yeah, I want to see if I'll get Wallaced at a draft international.
Any chance to string some consonants together, Jack's on board.
For sure.
So,
For sure.
Yeah.
So with that, we are going to talk about a little bit of FISO action. This is the second event that they've held, which last year did really turn out to be the premier obstacle course race on the world stage. So it's going to be interesting as they take on a course in Central America. And I don't know, I in my 2 seconds of thinking about the history of OCR, I can't recall a race of this importance in Central America.
no, not even close.
So
Like the
historic.
Caribbean has had some, like the Spartan Cruise, kind of the only noteworthy one, but the rest, maybe Southern Mexico has had some, but they've never had a Spartan race south of Mexico and north of South America. So that Central American area is pretty untapped for OCR.
So we're going to touch on some FISO. We got DEKAFIT PA, Oaks, Pennsylvania, also happening this weekend with a pretty stout lineup of gentlemen. At least we'll go over that list, see what the total list is looking like for men and women. But first, we're going to talk about a little bit of results that happened. We had a race down in Brisbane.
Nailed it.
Nailed that
The
pronunciation.
future Olympic home,
Is that where it is after LA?
2032. Yeah.
32.
Nice. That's
Still
what we're gonna-
undetermined where 36 is going to be. Allegedly, it's between India and Doha. So
Doha.
we'll see how that.
Dar.
Doha.
Right. So that's right, because Brisbane's where there's going to be HYROX
Exactly.
in the Olympics, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially after a screaming fast race down in Brisbane. We had Joanna. This is a name. Jack, have you been able to pronunciate this one? It's
I don't
very
want to
Polish.
steal your thunder right there.
It's extremely Polish, and I had to plug it into the interweb to see what it said. Worstic, I think is what we're going with.
Where
That's
stick?
a
Stick?
simplified version. I like it.
That's what. Well, the Polish version that was with a V too. So
I was gonna say I'm thinking it starts with a V.
Well,
for
I bet
syllable-wise.
in Australia. they're not
Having
saying
heard
it with
this,
a V.
I think it starts with a V.
Vitric. That's probably what I'd go.
In Poland probably, but in Australia it's probably Wastic. BK, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Cha.
Well, she comes from, this is her second race of the season. She dropped almost 5 minutes between races, running a 60:52, which I believe would put her as the fourth fastest individual behind Lauren, Meg, and Michaela.
Michaela.
Who I believe in her debut was 60 low. So this is something to pay attention to. Lauren Griffith was 61:15, and Jessica Short was 68:17. Jess Petro, who we know was 70:02. So this course on the women's side, at least, was pretty fast.
Lion.
Steaming, one might say.
Pretty fast. So I would look at this time in general and be like, well, come on, what are we talking about here? Especially from, I don't know her exact time from the last race, but I believe it was 65 and change. I could find that pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
because she beat Lauren Griffith, who is an Elite 15 athlete who showed out several times last year, she was on the podium on at least two, I think two DEKA events at the Worlds last year. She's very good. So that she was able to beat Lauren is a sign that she needs to be taken seriously here for this season. And this time puts her into the Elite 15.
If she's like a
Pretty
65 and now a 60 high, she's got a probably 62, 63 time. That's got to be in the Elite 15 for sure.
She's way up there. She's 63 flat, which jumps her in front of Lauren Griffith and also in front of, right behind Sika Arning and Michaela Norman. So she's 8th. So she might just be in.
Yep.
She is.
So
Yeah.
what's her time again? 60, 45, you said?
50, 52? 60,
Oh,
52?
60. All right. That's the 11th fastest. That is faster. I know it's a different course, but that's faster than Meg Jacoby ran at 2023 World in Manchester.
Right.
So, yep.
So it's
Top
very,
11.
Yeah,
very,
some
very-
slight issue there, right?
And where?
Manchester.
I don't believe so.
There wasn't a pole issue that day.
Oh, Meg did have a pole issue that day, for sure. She
Not
did.
to discredit this performance, but Meg deserves the asterisk on that.
know.
I
I believe
believe
the rope fell off of her.
Yeah.
It had a wardrobe
Minor
malfunction,
details.
Yeah.
equipment wise.
Something you need.
Now,
So
what I
she-
like about this is that you are really supportive of this and you are really logical to say this would be an outlier, but we get to look at the field and see. But if this was a man, oh my
Oh, no.
goodness, you'd be burning
Just-
this world down if
Oh,
a man
no.
dropped 5 minutes and got ahead of you,
Yes,
Ooh.
I would. I sure would.
burning it to the ground.
So in Joanna's
But we have our
first-
comparison with Lauren Griffith and
Correct.
Jess Petro's in that. We've seen them go head to head, and I think because they have a U.S. location, that's why Rich is buying in.
So we're just looking at Joanna's time for between Sydney, where she did win the race by a comfortable margin, by 4 minutes or so. Her sled push there was 2:27, which is fast, and her sled pull was 5:12, which is average. So she was then 2:04, which is very fast, and 4:22, which is still average, right? So it wasn't a crazy sled pull for her, but the sled push seemed to be pretty fast. I think the run was pretty crazy. So in Sydney, her run was 31:30 with a 3:50 rock zone. In Brisbane, it was 29:22 with a 3:30 rock zone.
So my gut, I
She
looked
can
at the
run.
women's results first. So my gut reaction was, man, this was a course.
Yeah.
But then you start looking at some of the men, and not all the men got faster from Sydney to Brisbane. And then you look at how she won the first one, and you think maybe this is what it looks like to go in with some hesitancy in your first one, run it safe, and then rip your second one and see what happens. Like she just might be scary this year.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that could be the case. Like she's just, like you said, gaining confidence, figuring out how to really put it all together. She did run. She's a younger athlete. She's just last year she was in the 16 to 24, so now she's 24 to 29. So she's a young athlete, which we will see more and more of popping into the sport. So last year she ran a 60-30 open in Melbourne, and then went to a 65 pro, which is generally the progression. I think 5 minutes is safe, and then back down to a 60-50. Yeah, so I guess 4 minutes of time is what she saved from one course to another. This may have been a very, I don't know, I don't necessarily like calling these the run courses short, as I don't know how accurate that is, but it is, they can be favorable.
Advantageous.
Yes, they can be efficient. They can just
Yeah.
be better run courses, whether it's in and out, what the straights look like, how the turns are. I'm guessing this course was
Do you know
a
the layout?
favorable run.
Number
I
of laps, in out locations.
actually
or-
don't. Actually don't. Let me try to find it.
Well, Yeah, Lauren, her PR was in the 62 mid range, I think, before this. So
Mhm.
she shaved about a minute off.
Which is quite a bit.
So yeah,
Yeah, this early in the
with
season.
international travel, I'm sure Lauren's definitely fit, but that does help. But even if you add like a minute to Joanna's time,
Yeah.
should be at about 63:40 for her average time. That would still place her 10th, 11th in the standings.
There was some. Okay, we ready? Let me share this screen. Let's look at this course together.
Let's do it.
HYROX Daily does a good job of posting the courses up. So, in on your second time you see in arch. So it sounded like 2 laps. Wait, where's the out? Can you guys see this?
A little
It's
hard.
mediocre at best.
Yeah. Right click and try to see if you can open this in a new tab.
In a new tab? Or
Let
that
him
Or
push
right
you
click on the
around, right?
image. Like, yeah. You probably can't on Instagram.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sweet.
Where is the
Starts
in
on the
and out?
bottom.
Is it right here? Yes. So it was a 2
Yeah.
lap course. In and out are like basically in the same place. Sorry, I have this tag is in the way. Look where Farmer's Carry is. It's on the other side of the rock zone,
Huh.
which is interesting.
Oh, I hope there's a tunnel. That'd be sick.
So there's no rock zone for Farmers, so it's like in and out. So that's going to save some time for sure. And a 2 lap course. I mean, it does look.
Although that's an enormously spaced out rock zone.
It really
You might be
is.
giving that all back.
I mean, it was only 3.5 minutes. Where we saw in like Chicago it's 4 to start. Everybody's 4.
Yeah.
What there wasn't, which was interesting. So the start is here, right? So the first lap was short, and then they don't give that back anywhere. So either the run course each lap is pretty long, but
I love
to
the
have a long run
sequential
course than a
station
long.
setup.
What's that?
Well, it
I love the sequential station setup.
goes right to
1,
left.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. Wow,
That's how you should do it.
unbelievable! Nice job.
So if we're looking at this, you said you go in on the second time that you run past the in arch. So it's actually greater than 500 meters per lap because you don't pass it. You don't pass start twice. You just do like if you're starting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I think
going-
it's
you're
probably
going
closer to
out
like a
here.
600-meter lap or something.
The in and out's pretty close. In, out.
Oh wait, the in isn't near the start. Maybe it is 500 on the
I'm
dot.
guessing this is the in and out, right? I
Yeah.
think it says in right here. So it looked like a favorable course, right? And a lot can happen when you get a good course, truly. And this
Mhm.
seemed to be just one that had a couple of advantages. You take one station, stick it in outside of the run zone, outside of the rock zone. Basically, what we saw in Stockholm, was where they came in the farmers and then they left basically at the exit of the rock zone. They didn't have to stop and manage it. They just basically got kicked right out onto the run course. 2 lap course was very favorable. This is just a good course.
So player comp, finishing ahead of Lauren by a minute. Based on last year's majors or races she was at, what does this mean in theory? If she doesn't improve from here, let's just say right now this is her for the year, which probably isn't the case, but whose range does that put her in?
I mean,
Like 3 through 5?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say potentially like
Viola.
Viola.
Viola, Linda, yeah,
She can run also.
yeah. So I think that's fair. But
She's
new
gonna go
blood.
to
Lauren's
she's
really
gonna
good.
go to Hong Kong and earn
She'll
that
qualify.
spot into
Yeah. So my bet is going to be trashed because she's going to prove me wrong and someone out of APAC is going to
This is the women's race. You might have half your bet come through.
Right. So definitely worth taking note. Joanna or Stick is what we're going with.
Blah.
I hope
She is
somebody else
probably not happy with that. Yeah.
Somebody else is going to have to get that pronunciation down for the masses. I was waiting for someone else to do it, but it's me. So
Saving it for
that
OCR.
bumps Rebecca Mason out of the Elite 15. Chris Rogloski is now 15
Wow.
on the nose. Kate Davey 14, and Camilla is now 13. So,
So,
yes.
here, I'll just share my screen real quick.
Hold on.
Well, you do that not to brush over Lauren Griffith's performance.
Really good.
This is how you start a year.
Yeah.
Yes. Build momentum. All right. So when we did our Jack's butt episode and the updated adjusted times, I haven't added Brisbane in here yet, but Joanna was second on the list of like athletes who have only run one qualifying race and what it would take. So she went 105.07. So she needed a 63.30 and more than enough right there to get in. So it is kind of cool seeing that some people go from this list to the next list to get in. So Christy O'Connell was the only one sitting ahead of her at the time.
Christy's got to be fired up.
Yeah.
Looking at it and seeing, hey, this is doable.
If she wants to
If she cares.
pursue it. Yeah.
What could she want more in
Good
this
point.
world than that?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And yeah, Joanna had good wall balls too at 343. I mean, that's not great for the women's field, but it's still really good. Lauren Griffith had a really good wall ball as well with a 329. So she was coming. She was coming.
Yeah.
This was not like Lauren, like she got out-dueled. And it looks
Well,
like
and how many is this, her fourth pro or third?
Joanna's,
Yeah,
her second.
it's only second. So like, what do you expect to need work still?
Yeah.
Probably lunges and
The
wall
ending.
balls.
Yeah.
Right. So to be in the threes already after leading a race against a world-class competitor,
Mhm.
that's probably worth 330 in a month or two.
Yep.
And you
think
don't
that's
need to
fair.
be much faster than that unless you're trying to win. Like win worlds.
Do you know her background?
No,
Okay.
I don't. Matt may have talked. Matt like mentioned her in the preview, so I don't know if he has any insight. But
Mhm.
so her total run time was 29:22. And Lauren was not under 30. She was 30:30. So yeah, just the running. But like all of these were under 4 minutes, right? Every single run from
Yeah.
Lauren Griffith was, or hers got a little bit slower toward the back. So I guess that's where Lauren kind of fell apart here. Her running actually did kind of fall apart. But there was that last lap was not accounted for, with the first lap being short. So these may have been way longer, these run laps, which I think is good for fast times.
Yeah.
Yep.
So take notice. World's on blast. World is on
Joanna's
blast
coming.
now. So that is pretty cool. And James Kelly, JK, ripped one as well. He ran a 55 and change, 55.40, which is really solid. Then Tom Rogers ran a 58.18. Dexter Buchanan he's a Kiwi. He was 60.50. Matt Slee, 61.16. And we had Chris Woolley down there in 6, was 62.56. So JK really just putting on a show out there.
Scary fast right now.
It's one of two things when someone pops a race. They either go back to what they were or they are that new race. And he seems to just be that. That's his new baseline.
Yeah.
He ran a 27:37.
He did a half marathon recently. Wasn't it like 74, 75 for a half marathon recently?
Yeah.
Is that what you'd expect for someone running 27
No.
in this? I would have thought it'd be a little faster in a half.
Yes. That's why this is just like,
Yeah.
I think he's the ultimate like compromised runner.
right. I don't mean this is no, like, what is let's find out the equivalent.
Because that's
What-
elite running in HYROX.
Yeah.
That's like not bad for an AK alone.
An AK in general. Yeah.
All right. So what you said? We said 115.
I mean, I ran 26 mid for a standard 8K.
Flat course. Yeah.
Pancake flat golf course.
Paul Short or something invitational.
I don't know
Rich
who
knows
the
that
guy is,
course.
Oh yeah, that one cooks. So it would be. I don't have the 8K equivalent. What do you think an 8K equivalent is for a 115 half?
72, 73.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
no,
say
sorry.
The 8K.
Coming back.
other way, you've got to be
27,
26,
26,
26,
30.
40.
You think for 115? 115 is not that fast.
Oh, I thought you were talking to 70. What did he run?
He ran like a 75.
So
Oh,
that's
75 would be a
540s.
542, 541 pace. Yeah.
27:30.
Yeah, right. I think if it was a flat,
No, but 27:30 is
across.
averaging 5:30 pace. 12-second drop off for 2.5 times the distance. All right, 27 low. That's what I give him.
27 low.
Yeah.
Right.
All
so
right. I'll pull up the calculator.
I got it.
Right.
Doesn't have 8K on here, but if you got a different one,
Guarantee you look at Purdy points, they'll be on there.
I bought the VDOT. I can put in
Oh.
whatever distance I want.
for the equivalent.
Yep.
All right. All right. Let's see.
I use this baby daily.
So either way, JK is flying when it comes to the running. Everything else is like, yeah. I mean, sled push was 211. Sled pull is 230. I mean, 330, and that's where he actually he struggled in
Okay.
knees on the
So,
pole.
so you guys are actually wrong. So a 115.
27 flat is equivalent to 115.21.
What? Oh,
27 flat 8K. They're calling a 115.21 half marathon.
I'm seeing 26:53 equivalent. But yeah.
But
So
Jack didn't buy that shit.
high
BK
26,
7
low
seconds
27s.
different in an 8
Yeah, yeah.
kilometer race. I think we're in the
Yeah,
same
yeah, okay.
wheelboat.
Close enough. Yeah.
Wheelboat?
Wheelboat. You know?
Wheelboat.
Yeah. So he's in good form early. He doesn't really need a qualifier. He's just in everywhere. So
Yeah. Rich, question for you on that. As a runner, do you think that your 8K times are that close? Just in general, like, do you think that the top women are probably running about a 31 in a road 8K versus 31 for their 8x1K compromised, and then faster?
the women are running probably alone. Yeah, I think that spread is long is wider.
Okay.
That's why
Yeah.
when I see 27:30, it's kind of like
Well, we have a stat on that. Lauren,
You're right. Yeah.
what was
She
hers?
had 9 miles at 6:01 pace, so she for sure is faster than 6:10 pace for 5 miles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
At altitude.
At
True.
altitude, yeah. So I like seeing women under 30
Mm-hmm.
for a HYROX 8K seems a little bit crazy.
What
You
about
think
you and
they're-
Plyo?
Yeah.
What's your gap?
Probably minutes. Probably minutes.
What's
I mean,
your
I don't
best
know.
AK like realistic split in HYROX?
It's been under 30.
Yeah,
Not-
so
I don't think I've
29s,
really
and
done
you're running
29 something.
26s
Really?
still these days, right?
Yeah, I've never had a course where I got like a 28 low or 27 high.
Yeah. Gender differences are so crazy in this sport for running, it seems.
Yeah. They're also just good. They're also just really good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's true.
There was some sort of controversy here with an athlete who has had
Tenge.
solid times. Yeah, Tenge Cruz.
Mhm.
Did we catch the story? He was mouthing off, popping off at the mouth to some to the judges, and they didn't like it.
So he's a non-native English speaker, correct, Jack?
He's
I
French?
believe he's French, but he's been
So-
racing in Australia for several races. Yeah.
So you always have that it's hard to speak. I'm not giving him an excuse, just saying that words translate differently, and it's generally more direct rather than finessing your words. But as far as I could tell, he felt the judge, he was returning the energy he was getting from the judge.
Mm.
And he felt he was disrespected verbally, and he fired back in the middle of a race.
And then
I'm
they
not drawing
DQ'd him.
conclusions.
I
After
know what
the
he
race,
said.
yeah.
We should have that should be information that we do receive so that we know where a line is. I'm sure he
Mhm.
wasn't thinking he was going to get disqualified, and he is in the fight. Like, I don't think he finished the race very well, but he ran
He was
58.
60 low.
101, I thought.
So something must
was
have
it?
happened
Okay.
in there. Yeah, like 61 something, where he has a 58.23 from Melbourne, and Sydney he has a 60.42. So like if he popped one, right, like he's in the mix.
Yeah.
We're now.
Yeah.
And if he's living in Australia, like his season's kind of done. Right.
He said it wasn't happening either way. Like I think he said, like, this isn't the reason for with or without this, I wasn't having it. But
but
It sounded
maybe.
like it was handled and moved on from on both sides.
Yeah.
I would like to know. Just
You got to
so
know what
it's
the
like,
magic word is, right?
yeah, where's the line?
The
Right,
magic.
like,
Well, is the
Somewhere
magic
between what
word the
he
same?
said and what Sandy said during the rowing debacle. That's the range.
Right. And is this something that is going to be consistently dished out? I've never heard this happening. Right? This is our first instance of it.
I'm trying to, have we had, not, it's the wrong, it's too strong of a term, but abuse of an official, I guess that would be the equivalent in like the ball sport or something. But
I've only heard of one other athlete DQ'd from HYROX or like talked to or admonished during.
was it
And
Isaiah?
that was, yeah, that
Yeah.
was a couple of years ago with Isaiah. Like two times in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to know what the parameters are.
Right.
Yeah.
We should know. So that's a
You
bummer
get
on
teed
his
up in
end.
most sports.
Yeah.
That puts, and then Tom Rogers improves his time from he has a 60-16 and a 58-18.
Legit. What are his run splits looking like?
It's such a crazy. This is like a couple weeks apart. I don't hold it up especially
Rich
in
is
APAC and-
already walking back on, oh yeah, the women's course. Nope, men are included.
Yeah.
It might
Well,
affect
you got-
me.
I
This
roll
course sucks.
stars.
now.
Well,
Yeah.
in this case, he got waxed, and then there was
I
nobody
know, I
really
know.
behind him. It's like, yeah, okay. Um,
You run a different course than she did?
well, at least she beat somebody. So that's it. Maybe we should have done the dudes first, so I could walk back. Let's
Just
see.
got
What
out of the way.
let's see what these run splits look like. I don't know much about.
Her
Yeah, I'm
being
just trying
there
to learn more profile.
legitimizes the men's course. We don't need one on each side.
No, I know, but her time, it doesn't mean she's not good.
I'm saying
But-
Lauren Griffith's time validates the men's field at the
No,
same
it
time
was
as the
still
women's.
very fast. It's still
At
just
most
it's
a
just
minute.
I mean, this is so early with the travel. I would say if we put this in Jack's butt, it would be we're looking at like 2.5 minutes for this one.
Okay, I'll get you an answer next week. But
Yeah,
Ask
based-
Lauren.
just based off the eye test.
yeah, that's
What
a
you
good
gonna
point.
say? I mean, you always
Nah,
say
it's
this all the time.
legit.
Jack. You always say is BK. I was just on one.
Yeah.
I was feeling good.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it just happens.
Off-season training paid off.
Off-season trading, but her run fell apart bad. Like she was running. Let's see. Like it's not like she did well on her stations in the late stage. She's strong, but she started in the middle. She was running 350s, and then with no extension at the end. Well, after the farmer, she was 416. So after sleds, she was after sled pull. So this wasn't even after the ski.
Yeah,
She was running 350, and then after farmers, it was 416. That's like
a 40-second
pretty
mile
drastic
drop off.
fall off,
Yeah.
right? And
I
she
mean,
still
isn't
runs
that
a PR. She's like hurting, dying, going backwards, and PRs by like a minute.
that's what happened
Bro.
when you set an
I'm
800
only
PR?
pushing
I was
back.
being nice. And now you
Because I
forced
called
my
this
hand.
10 minutes ago.
Forced my hand on this, BK. This is your fault. We could have just let it lie, but no.
You should have gone down and raced then. If this is a 6-minute fast course,
I should have done that.
could have run
You see-
49.
Rich is gonna have Australia on his book next year, and he's gonna go and he's gonna get Spained.
We're gonna see. I bet we see a major in Australia in like August next year.
We should, actually.
Worlds in June, major in August.
I want it to be Doha, Singapore,
Just hot and humid.
Brisbane,
Australia, Brisbane, and
Somewhere in Europe where they don't have air conditioning. Just
Hawaii.
keep it-
Yeah. Let's go. Let's make a new market. Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
So you went ahead and did it, BK. I hope you're happy.
satisfied. Yeah. Like I said, when someone's miserable, they need to either bring themselves up or bring others down.
This
And
is how you live.
I can't even sit right after what Marcus did to me. And so I got to bring you guys down to my level.
Fair. All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, Brisbane fast course. But if there was some sort of certification, right, that HYROX would have to make a time count toward a qualifier, this would not count. Just based off of that farmer's carry alone, it's like, okay, this course is an outlier. 2-lapper with a very favorable, at least only one favorable station, I think that this would not count.
If there is that system and it is the BUTT system, I really hope we normalize the phrase, all right, take that course, stick it in Jack's butt, and let's find out.
Let's put this in Jack's
not-
butt
we're
and see
not.
what happens.
Yep, run it through Jack's butt, and I'll let you know.
We're not
All
going
right.
with that.
What does it stand for again?
Doesn't
Bauer's
matter.
updated time top times.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
Let's stick this
It
in
was
Jack's
either
butt.
going to be that or Jackass, where it was going to be Jack's adjusted scoring system. But
Let's stick this in Jack's ass. That works too.
yeah,
Might have to throw on a little explicit.
just I don't want anything stuck up there.
Oh yeah. We can take one look at you and we know.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's move along. So HYROX in the books in Australia for a bit of time, I believe. What else we got coming? We have Toronto, we said.
What are we, 7 weeks from now?
October.
Oh, we have
8?
Singapore. Singapore at the end of August.
You'll probably see most of the athletes from Australia head there because that's kind of their closest race for a long time.
Where's Perth?
Western Australia.
So there's one in Perth. And then Cape Town. And then we have our first real race in Europe at Stuttgart, which is.
Are we going to see TVT in Cape Town?
That'd be interesting.
Ooh,
Little
that
Thomas
would be a
Van
good one.
Tonder action?
I would think so, right? Jack, come
Sure.
through with us.
I'd like to see that. There's another guy who did OCR who's a little bit
Here we
bigger, James Meredith. I hope that he ends up showing up. He was good back in the day.
Cape Town be cool, and Stuttgart, which I think will be the last chance to qualify into Amsterdam, and Toronto is too close to Amsterdam. So the first North American
Unreal.
race, you don't get any opportunities. So we have a couple coming up, but Singapore, which I believe is going to be the APAC Championship, or I believe
Open or
already.
whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Assistant to the regional championship. Yeah.
Are we on the FISO?
Let's do it.
All right. So moving on to OCR. This is the World
Draft time?
Championship. This is the World Championship. What do we think? We're not drafting.
Not draft. It's rude.
But is this the World Championship?
This is a championship, yes.
All right. If I'm just looking at names on the women's side, you probably have. All right. So on the women's side, you've got a former OCR world champion in Surrey, England. We just saw Ulrika Evanson just win the Ultra World Championship for Spartan. Nicole Miracle has plenty. Elisa Petrova has plenty. And several others with top 3 to 5 finish. The Sandy from the Philippines, she got 3rd at Spartan World Championship.
Yep.
Casey Monroe just got 3rd at a national series Spartan. Yoey Bolin has done well in the past. This is a stacked field for the women.
Big field.
We
So
didn't
was
get-
Warrior Dash. Was that a world championship?
I mean, where have we seen this? Is the most stacked we've seen a field all year.
Spartan Race called themselves a world championship and we believed it. Is this to the point where they've said it loud enough and got enough people there that we're just like, yeah, this is a world championship?
Not the
Yep.
because there's always in the past Spartan.
It can't be.
Why?
For one reason.
No cares?
When the year started, no
Last
one
year.
said, I shouldn't say no one. The OCR world at large didn't say, are you going to Worlds this year? And everyone agreed that that's what you were referring to. On January 1st or December 20th or whenever it was that you started your off-season build, and people are like, you going to Worlds this year? The world of OCR was not spearheaded towards this event. Now, next year it could be, but this might be the championship of the year, but it is not yet the world championship of the sport.
I think if we have one championship of the year, it's definitely Alula, because that's where everybody showed up. You had people come out of retirement,
It's a
basically.
different race, though.
I know it
the
is,
format was
but-
so different, and it wasn't a championship. They didn't even call that a championship. They weren't even faking it the way Spartan typically does. They were just like, hey, this is a race.
Big race, spectacle. Yeah. But I do think just
And
to
it was
add
like
on to what-
early in the year. It was like the first race of the year, wasn't it?
February, late February, early March. But I think to add on to what Bracken was saying it is good that this is year 2. It's in Belgium. They move continents. We typically have been saying that it's dying in the US but it's really thriving in Europe, but you're still seeing athletes willing to travel to Costa Rica. Yes, many of them are European, but a lot of them are from the Philippines, South America. You have pretty solid names from North America going to this. I think if this is executed well, that it's going in the right direction, surprisingly.
Did we get is there prize money?
Couldn't tell you.
BK, could you?
This is how we can find out if this is a world championship or not. The world championship. If I open up their website and it is easy to navigate and it's user friendly, I will give them benefit of the doubt.
Don't bother. It's confusing.
This is a learning moment for the crowd.
Hey, you want to share your screen, Bracken? Just so people can navigate.
To counter, I was trying to find Leadville 100 results, and the Ultra World is just
took a few clicks.
They just don't care. I couldn't find anywhere. I was like on a Reddit. There was
I posted it in the
Twitter.
In the group chat.
You did?
Yeah, in the Dad's a Fantasy or a Hybrid Racing chat.
The full results.
Yeah,
I
it's a
didn't even see
fantasy.
'em.
I like that.
Whatever, the fantasy football chat that we have.
I was
Yeah.
not paying attention.
Magida, me, we were going back and forth about that.
I can't find him now. I was trying to find him and couldn't.
Well, that might be a you
surprisingly.
thing. We both found it.
Yeah.
I should be able to find it. If I can't find it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now on their webpage, if you just click on the 100-mile trail run, then at the bottom there is a link where it would have the drop downs for frequently asked questions. They have drop downs for links, and one of them is results and pictures.
I actually went to the Reddit link that Rich is definitely referring to.
See?
So that's how I found it. And then I was like, links. There we go.
Leadville Trail Run, I'm up. I clicked it down for results. Most recent result is 2023.
Yep. That was what I found. That's why I went to the Reddit thread, because it's just not on there.
It's not on there.
Nope. But we should give a shout out to a couple OCR athletes in
You still got that link to be
Leadville. Yeah.
The short course is a 3-kilometer stadium and cross-country style race.
Oh, damn, BK, you got to get down there.
I don't think we know what that means. Didn't say stadion, so I'm lost.
It's time to go over this. So, do you guys clearly don't know about the layout? Did you know it's in the National Stadium in Costa Rica?
Okay.
The 3K and the 100 meters are. And then the 15K standard distance is like an hour away at a completely different venue.
Wow. Okay.
So
on a coffee plantation. Don't say we clearly don't know. Come on, man.
Because I sent you the video 10 minutes before we got on. But yeah.
I do like coffee. I think I think that this is fine. I think that that's fine. You know.
Now
like,
one thing that I was talking with Leon about, because he's down there from Denmark, and he was saying that he thinks that the 15K is going to be a little bit like watered down for the obstacles, because you can't just take the harder ones that are in the stadium. So he thinks it's gonna be more Spartan, like for the 15K, which if you're that type of racer, that's great. The 3K, it sounds like it's going to be pretty European style that we're used to, but the 15K I could see being a little bit different, because they just can't put stuff in the middle of the jungle.
I actually like this. I don't hate this, because then it's when we see we see Spartan, right? Spartan's like, okay, for our short course, it's going to be the exact same as our long course. They're just going to be not hard obstacles. So now the 3K is for obstacle specialists, which I think is appropriate, and 15K will be a little bit more for the engine-based endurance athletes. Yeah, and so it's taking a bit of like a Spartan race for one of the races, and for the 3K, it's more of like European style, which I'm fine with.
Cool, you got both.
I'm fine with that.
So, little update.
Okay.
On World Obstacles website, which is admittedly terrible. It's like going through a binder online.
Well, Trapper Keeper?
No, it's not cool.
That's true.
Like a lame, scratchy plastic one that's going to kind of like cut your wrist when it digs into you when you're walking into class, holding it in front of your waist.
The plastic kind of peels off. Yeah, I got you.
You know all about that, Bracken.
Yep.
Yeah.
No mention of prize money anywhere on there. They have a lot of verbiage
scary
dedicated to a lot of doesn't matter. I'm not
Okay.
going to be negative today.
That's not
I'm not
true.
gonna be
You're
negative.
you're just gonna bait. You're just out here fishing for negativity, trying to catch me and Jack. Little catch and release. Now we're back.
On British Obstacles website, they don't have anything about prize money. Generally, you lead with that. It's a splashy banner.
But at least they're not lying about it.
They're not. And maybe it's more pure to race for your nation and for no money. But that's lame.
I mean, they're getting people to go. I guess I don't understand that. How people are going, why people would attend this.
I think the top athletes are going to receive some sort of travel stipend from their federation, and the lower tier athletes are convinced that it's going to be World Championship,
It's fun.
and they follow it. So, I mean, it's a good business model if that's indeed accurate.
And if we look at the landscape of OCR at the moment, it's like Jacksonville again, Utah again, Big Bear again. This is brand new. We've never seen a race in Costa Rica.
Yep.
It's kind of cool. Do you like that they went here?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, let's start the debate.
Well, the venue is awesome. I don't mind the split venue at all. In fact, that's very classy. That's very established sport-esque of them.
Right.
The Olympics does that. World Championships do that all the time.
World
I
Cup.
love it.
Yep.
Actually, you're going to get bussed somewhere. You're going to feel like an athlete. But they picked a spot that has no OCR presence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird to me. So no, I'm going to say I love the course. It reminds me of the Hawaii course, which is one of the most enjoyable, epic courses I've run. But the location, I don't understand it.
You know that Hawaii is no longer at Kualoa Ranch. They
I do
switched.
know.
It's disappointing.
Great international competition out there.
Yeah.
Mountain course.
Great course.
Yep.
Great
According to
mountain,
Kirk.
international
Yeah.
mountain course.
Yeah. RIP.
Why do you like it, Rich?
I just like it's something different. This whole thing is just it's not they're not. It's an even playing ground then, because there's no OCR presence. It's like we're going to come here. There's not going to be an advantage because of the terrain or because of travel, and it's just something. It's something different. It's something new. It got people there. I wouldn't like it if it was a barrier, but there are people there.
So my
So-
question then is, why does novelty of location? We have location fatigue in our sport currently. So
Mhm.
why is novelty needed here and not in all the other sports known to man? Why can you run Boston Marathon every year? Why can you do Oceanside 70.3 every single year? Cozumel. Why can
Kona.
you go to the crappy Brown Stadium every single year? Like, why is that? And I understand that some of these are different type of sport experiences. Team
Mhm.
sports doesn't matter where you play it.
Right.
But why can you race the same course every single year and know it intimately, and that's fine? In an OCR, we get venue fatigue. Why is that?
I think prestige goes a little bit with your course layout. It's like, oh, I made it to Kona. I qualified for Boston because it's hard to do. And I think that people circle that on the calendar for that reason.
People do Ironman Madison every year. The course sucks. And they do it every single year, and it's not hard to get into.
I mean, maybe it is just what the sport is kind of steeped in, right? Like we are a derivative of adventure racing. Is kind of where this whole thing started. And the people that might be attracted to it want to have the experience of racing in Hawaii, racing in the Tahoe, or
the whole racecation term.
the racecation stuff, right?
So if we
Where-
changed the courses and didn't run it on the same loop each year and changed up obstacles and explored different areas, would it still be novel? Would that be enough? Or do we get 3 to 5 years at a venue and we got to bail?
I mean, Tahoe, Killington, they have a
Tahoe
lot of
changed
restrictions, but they still had a lot of restrictions on you. You're basically going this direction this year and then the opposite direction the next year, and you can't really go off trail much. Like there are a lot of restrictions for those type
Correct.
of championships.
And they still could have done more. They could do mini loops rather. They had to get to the top. Like that was their,
Mhm.
we must get
It's
to the soccer
there.
fields.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I guess my question is it venue fatigue, or is it that people fall in love with the unknown in OCR, and as soon as it becomes regular, they need to move on and they see it as the venue when in reality it's the course layout.
So if this was to happen in, yeah, just say Costa Rica or Tahoe or whatever it is, and FISO is not held by, they're not bound by the obstacles like how Spartan is, and if you would show up at the same Tahoe course every year, but the obstacles were completely different, do you think that I guess is I'm asking the same question you're asking, BK.
Yeah.
Is it the venue or is it the
You're like,
unknown?
let's say next year's World Championship is at Tahoe, and we didn't have this gap, and like everyone's on the start line and they start with a sandbag. It's like, oh, that's different. Now it's suddenly cool. Is that kind of where you're getting at, where it's not the same thing year over year? It's just
And it's
the
like they
course.
give
We're
you new-
running
they give
different
you new
sections.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
So so my example is I ran Killington in 2012 for the first time, and then 2013 and 2014. And they used different parts of the mountain every single time. You repeated some of them, but they were not the same races. And in fact, I prepared for year 2 like I did year 1, and I was not prepared for them. I might as well have been on a different mountain. It was
Also,
very
double
different.
sandbag year. Also, no one was ready for that.
That's true, but year 1, we didn't use the nastiest of the climbs. It was a tamer mountain. Like they found other things to do, and then we started in a different location. We had a completely different lodge we started at year 2 or in year 3. So they changed the course without ever leaving. So I'm not arguing one side or the other, but are we needing new spots? Should this be a traveling thing, or is it just that the standardization of the sport killed the intrigue? Or does it not have to be one or the other?
Yeah, I think it could succeed if there was a home. I don't think that necessarily needs to be, but there would need to be variety. If it is variety in obstacles, I think that would be the main thing for people to continue to come and push themselves and see what they can do in the unknown. I don't know how much terrain has to do with that, but I think obstacle variety would probably help.
Part of it that people don't actually want to know how they're competing compared to previous years,
Oh, yeah.
like in the open, is
Totally.
that they don't want to see I'm not getting much better year to year, or I got worse. Whereas if it changes up or new venue is like, hey, I ran hard or I didn't fail obstacles. Whereas if you run the same Big Bear course 4 years in a row, it's pretty black and white whether you're getting better or not.
Yeah.
What would you guys prefer?
Switching it up.
Switching the actual location?
Yeah. I don't think that having Kona as it's not a track. For a track, every single 400 meter, it's going to be perfectly flat. You're going to have a 100-meter straightaway and then a bend. Exactly the layout, but people train for different events in all around the world, and they don't have a Kona necessarily to replicate it. Like, yes, you can do things, put on extra clothes if you want to prepare for the heat and stuff, if you don't live in a hot environment and stuff. But I don't like the idea that you have to, this is the course and that's the only type that matter. I think switching it around, it's like, here's the fast year, here's the climbing year, here's the hot year, here's the cold year. I like having that variety for a world championship and having it vary.
I'm exactly opposite.
Okay.
I want the series to vary every year and give a sampling of what the sport is and where it can be and how you can execute it. And I want a tentpole world championship that you can compare year to year and you can see how to train for your season.
Why do the series then if you know what the world championship is going to be like? Because it's going to take away from that specificity.
I don't think so, because the series is like 10 months long. I don't think if it took place for like 3 months and there's a 3-month gap, then they'd have no correlation. But what it does is, the plus side is you get someone like Sergey, who had a place he trained, get the world championships, and he got a shot at it and he won it and then had another podium. The downside is that if the world championship had been a test of mountain altitude for 5 straight years and people trained for that, and then they had to go over there, someone got to win that hadn't been training for the test everyone else had. So I like the idea of the championship is comparable year to year. We see who the greatest of all time, what they've come through and done, but sample the sport in the series.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean with BK on this one. Sorry, Jack. Take
all
that
good.
L.
It's all
But
good.
I would have 2 championships.
No,
would do
now
it.
stop this.
I would
No.
have a Tahoe and an Abu Dhabi.
There are too many championships. That's Rich's. That's
No,
what
the
he
other ones don't
hates.
count.
Yeah, the other one is the beast that
Do you
Jack
add the label? Yeah.
refers to.
But I would have two tent
regularly.
poles a year. I wouldn't wait all year for one. But
Like a 3K and 15K at different times. I think
Yeah.
that's fine too.
Like Croatia being in October for the Sprint World Championship, and then the Beast in December for Abu
something
Dhabi.
like that.
Yeah.
Like Abu Dhabi is flattish, which means we have the opportunity for fast running. So it should be short enough that you're not just dehydrating in the sand and running slow.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to be fast, it might as well be short enough to be fast.
Because
If it's going to be a big mountain, make it a big mountain.
if you host the Sprint Championship in Abu Dhabi, it's probably going to be a pretty similar outcome for the results as it would be for the Beast on that same exact terrain. I like that they.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, look at some of the guys we saw able to be up in the pack for 5K and then gone.
Yeah, I personally like the prep as an athlete and as a coach. I like the idea of having something be consistent and knowing what you are up against for the sake of sport. So
Mhm.
in my personal preference, I would prefer it to be the same venue year over year.
Unless you knew what the template was. It is going to be 90 to 120 minutes, mountainous, non-altitude. That's all
Between-
we can tell you.
2,000 feet of climbing plus or minus 500 feet. You know, some specifics.
Sure.
Like World Olympic Marathon always wrecks people, but they have like 2 years to prepare for they know roughly what it's going to be.
And that's the thing, right? Yeah.
Finding out a few months,
I
I
mean,
just don't love it.
they chose Orlando specifically for the marathon trials because they knew it was going to be humid and hot, because Paris was going to be humid and hot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people weren't prepared for the hills, but if you looked deep enough into the course, you knew there were going to be hills in Paris. Like, could have prepped for that.
And we heard months out about how nasty the course was. They do their test run and everything.
Yeah.
But I guess you moving over to the right side here, which is that World Championship should just be a great test that everyone's prepared for. The
Mhm.
series can test all facets of OCR.
But who's to say that the course that's selected for the World Championship is the best course?
Oh, it won't be, because there's so many interpretations of what OCR could
There's
be.
no fair necessarily.
No, and it never has been.
Which is
Killington
true.
was unfair. Tahoe
true.
was inherently unfair,
Mhm.
but you knew what it was. Like if it's unfair across the board and you know what's going to be, you can at least,
Mhm.
as an athlete, prepare for the unfairness of it.
And you can do the pieces outside of the race become more predictable when it's in the same spot, which can lend itself to fairness if we're not worried about where to eat, where to go, how to get there, what the cost is going to be year over year. So if you have a general idea of what it's going to be and have that information passed down,
Mhm.
that will improve the overall performances on the course, I would think.
Yeah. I guess if we're just looking at World Cross Country Championship as another similarity, or the Tour de France, they're never the same. Like they had World Cross in Australia maybe a year ago, and then they had another one in somewhere in Europe where they were like running through a building halfway there. It's not the same, but you know it's going to be a 12K for the championship distance, and it might be muddy, it might be cold, and different time of year and stuff. They have it in the south of the equator, so it's a completely different season than it was north of the equator. So there are just a lot of variables in championships. So I can see both sides of the argument have a strong point, but there's no right way to do it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I like that argument because World Cross gets exciting because each nation puts their flair on the course. And that's always the thing that makes it cool.
And
So-
OCR is more like cross country than it is track, right?
Correct.
The predictability piece isn't necessarily why people do OCR.
Well, the 100 has 12 evenly spaced obstacles in 2 lanes.
It's gonna be 100 meters
Oh yeah.
on the nose.
Well,
I don't
No
want
80.
I don't want a fast course. Yeah, is it an 80?
100,
Is the other one 40 or 60?
60,
both. There's a 40 and a 60.
and a
40,
60.
60, 80, and 40?
Nah, there's just 2 of those. Either
Heck
40,
about the
60 or
20.
60, 80.
This is just one obstacle.
Yeah. We've got 100 at
Jump over a
3K.
wall. BK, if it was a race, 20 meters, jump over a wall to the finish line, you winning?
No, because then you'd have people like
Who's the
legit
best? Who's the best
sprinters.
wall goer that you've ever
Okay.
seen in OCR?
But if it was the people who had qualified for the regular World Championships, yeah.
If you
Yeah, I'm
got
gonna-
someone, if you
Would
got
Yasko just
of
jump
the
over
distance
it?
runners, I'm going to have the fastest 40 and the biggest vertical.
right, like if
So
Russell
I'll
Westbrook
win that.
5 years ago was in that, he'd cook you.
But if you get like Mac Roche and who's that guy? The bullet train, Andrew Mulligan. He
Milligan?
was like a 47 or 48-second quarter guy.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yeah,
Huh.
he actually was.
Interesting.
So,
I thought
but
he played, like,
you'll
water
find
polo
guys
or
like
something.
that just
Yeah.
have tools we don't. But if you just took the distance field, I'm betting on me.
Taking that. Well, who else is going to show up for a 20? It's going to be you. Everyone else is going to be like, what are we talking about? Where
I'm
am
gonna
I
be
going to do
working-
this?
Burst starts all year long for that.
Just go until you pop that Achilles.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
You got to get through that first phase, that first block, then you might be all right. But
All right, one more venue question for you. Since we talked about Rich, you didn't mind that it was in Costa Rica. Bracken, you kind of had a little bit of an
minds.
issue with it. Do you think that it's good to put it in an undeveloped region? You know how CrossFit, it's like, well, we're primarily a US, North American based company, and that's where a lot of our competitors are. That's where we're going to hold it. And then we might move to Europe because that's our next biggest market. HYROX is very European heavy, so that's kind of why they've had their championships there. They're moving to other parts of the world slowly but surely several years later in hopes of growing it. Costa Rica doesn't really have a presence, but could you see a similar trend happening, just like we've seen in hybrid, where you bring it there and now people start racing and being exposed to the sport being a positive thing?
is that what happens? Like, is this race going to be able to showcase what OCR has to the region, or is it just going to be a race that happens that no one knows anything about, and then people go home?
Yeah.
Well, if it's at the national stadium, my guess is that people are actually talking about it local, like they've made some part of it known. If it was just only in the woods an hour later on a coffee plantation, then it's like, how are we going to find out about it? There probably is going to be some news coverage. It's a new thing. It's a world championship. They probably have some national pride. I could
Jack,
see
if there was like a badminton, the world badminton tournament happening in Colorado Springs, we'd be like, oh shit, I know this is happening, and I'm gonna start playing badminton.
Would I start playing badminton? Probably not. I play racquetball. But I know that, for instance, next year the U.S. Senior Open is coming to Colorado Springs because I've seen some signs and heard some stuff about it, and that's like a year out.
Yeah, I just don't buy that it's going to grow it.
It just seems like a far stretch. It just doesn't seem like it's
Yeah.
apples to apples, like a direct line. It's like if it's here, the community will back it. What seems more likely is that it will be there. The media, the individual media that people are getting pushed on, won't be that,
Yeah.
and then it will just happen, and then we'll go back to the way that it was.
Here's my issue with this. If we're not going to have a set place, or if we're not going to alternate A and B years, okay, that's fine. That's part of OCR is the unknown. Like, if we want to go places, let's go places. I can get on board with that.
Right.
But if we're going somewhere obscure seems like a move that you have once you're established. It seems like, to call the favor of the community, you would want to start in the place that has the highest density of OCR. You give the most people the opportunity to do this thing that you are saying, we are now the federation, and this is World Obstacle, and this is the World Championship. When you take something new, which we've had try several times in this sport, Jack, you're going to be able to give better details on this than I am. But when we've had these organizations pop up and try to put on events that are going to be the first national series race, or the first international championship, or the first world championship, or qualifying race, we've had what? Russia was floated.
Yeah.
Turkey. Where else? Where else has been floated?
I remember
these-
Sochi was being talked about.
Yeah.
But
So
then
they keep-
COVID happened, so I don't know the follow-up after that.
But no established race has done that. The closest to that has been Spartan in Abu Dhabi, and they got pushback, but it worked because they already had the masses. And so when you're a new organization and you're trying to claim that you are a transparent, trustworthy brand, and then you choose an obscure or even nonsensical location like Sochi in the middle of their huge doping, where they can't even travel to international events because they're banned, and we're going to host our inaugural event there. When you have things like that happen, it erodes the confidence of the community that this is a good, trustworthy organization, even if you happen to be. So when they choose Costa Rica with no presence there, no OCR history, it's like, why did you choose it? The only reason to do that would be to try to be cool and get people there, or because someone there is paying you to go there. And we're not seeing payouts for the athletes. So again, it just doesn't speak to me of this great, trustworthy thing that's happening. That's like year 7.
Yeah,
Year
I was gonna
1,
say
I want you to choose an existing. Go to nuclear races in the UK. Use one of theirs. Like, partner with someone that we already know and trust, and kind of like prove your worth. And then we're going to give you some rope. There's some leniency. I don't like when they choose something weird and off the wall year 1 and say, like, trust us, it's going to be sick.
It's just fishy.
well, it's year 2, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's too early.
I hear you.
We're still debating, are they a world championship?
It's
That
is
means
it
it's
the
early.
not the
And we last week or 2 weeks ago were saying, is Hong Kong too soon for HYROX
Right.
to move? And we're year
Yes, it
7 for that. So, and HYROX has clearly shown growth and popularity and stuff. And it's time to expand maybe to certain parts, but it still might be a little early. So this could be just keep it in the US or Canada and Europe, and just go back and forth between there for a few more years. Establish that you're going to get the big names, because they seem to be buying into it, but make sure that you still have that track record for a couple more years. Then you can make the risk when it's time. Spartan
I
didn't go
agree.
to Abu Dhabi year 1.
The HYROX comp is perfect because we question that, and they already have events there. So, Jack, if I was Tony Reale, I'd give you a
Yeah,
point
they
to
might
3
be
for that.
canceling around the horn.
that shit has been on for a long time. I can't believe it's still on.
23, 24 years at this point, but
That's
still,
crazy.
I don't know.
That's
I like
crazy.
the style.
You watch it?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I haven't had cable for a long time, but I.
So
I
why are you
grew
over
up-
here like, oh my god,
No,
I can't believe
I'd
they're
come home.
canceling it.
I'd come home from cross country practice or
Yeah,
track
20 years
and,
ago.
like, I know that, but it was still a good show.
So you like, but I don't watch it now. I don't find it
Have you ever
valuable
have
now,
you ever
but I
listened to
still
any
want it
music
all.
that's 20 years old? I bet you have, and still
Yeah, because we
decent.
still listen to
I
it.
still listen to
Yeah.
it. I would be upset if it was gone.
All right,
You're
all
like,
right.
This
oh
is like
man,
when
no
there's
value.
uproar when they cancel the McRib, supposedly. Like, all these people, like, how dare they? Like, you guys aren't buying it.
The real one is people being up in arms about the salary wage difference of Caitlin Clark and Wembanyama. It's like, are you a WNBA fan? It's like, nope. It's like, okay, shut up. If you don't think it's valuable, don't
Do
complain
you buy
about
League
the
Pass?
value.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Then they
You
don't have
don't.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can buy their merch, you can watch the stuff, or you can complain about it and not really know what all the rest. In the women's race, we talked a little bit about the players who are going to be there. Who do we like? What do we like in the
I'll let
actual
you guys
race?
lead it off, and then I'll come in after.
Okay.
All
You know
right.
what I like?
BK, you got the
I
list?
like that
Wanna
we're
share
going
it?
to find out about Nicole.
What do you mean?
She won last year.
She won last
We
year.
haven't
and
seen her
she's-
this year.
Yeah, we
She got
saw her
second in Alula.
In Alula.
Has she run an OCR race, though?
Is there any to run?
I don't know. My point is, like, we're going to find out. This is where she would be dominant. This is where her mix of speed and obstacle proficiency is unlike anything we've ever seen in the sport. And it kind of shocked me how good she did in Alula. And now I want to know, is she back? Is she better? Is she at a reduced capacity in the thing that she was the best at in the world?
Well, this Nicole versus Alyssa is the story.
Oh yeah,
For
Alyssa
sure.
has been pretty dominant in the past 3 or 4,
Alyssa
2
is-
to 3 years.
Yeah, she has an argument right now that she's the best female OCR athlete on the planet, and I don't. You could mention
She is.
Nicole, but it's either her or Lisa, and I'd give it to Lisa at the moment.
It's hard to say that, right? Because it would be like, is Anthony Edwards better than KD? Like the old guard, even though age-wise they're probably not that much different, but just the old guard. If we've seen Nicole, just
AD and Anthony,
No.
you think?
He's saying the women.
Oh, I was like, what? They're
Yeah.
probably 12,
KD.
13 years. Yeah.
yeah,
And Nicole's in this argument being punished for not being around. Right.
Right,
She
yeah.
got injured. She
Coming back
wasn't
from injury.
available.
right.
But in the past, there was no argument when it came to this style of course that she was the best, but could Lindsay beat her? That was it.
Yep.
We
Right.
never had another woman we threw into the argument at this kind of course. Never.
Yeah.
Right.
And last year in the 15K, Nicole ended up getting first, and Elisa was a minute 46 behind her. So she has beaten her head to head in the most recent time that they face each other. Elisa did not race the 3K last year. Nicole got second behind Ida. Ida's dealing with a shoulder or some upper body injury, so she's not going to be here. But so Nicole has a 1-2 last year, and Elisa only has a 2. But since then, all she's done is win, basically.
Who else could round out this podium? We have the eyes on those two for sure.
Mm-hmm. If
There's
we're
a
if
lot.
we're yeah, if we're looking at last year's 14K, not 15K, 14K, because that was
Right.
the obscure
Matters.
distance they did. We have 7 of the top 11 finishers returning, so that's good for bringing it back. Realistically, we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 11 all coming back. So Ulrike would be the one who fills in. She got
Based
4th
off
last
this
year.
year, yeah, I think it's Ulrike. All of Sweden could be that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Yoe Bolin, she's a pretty high-end runner, right? Or has been.
Oh yeah,
Siri
England
and
she
Sarah
won the
Backstrom.
inaugural OCR Worlds.
Yeah.
In a cold, wet, type of environment. I know it's not going to be cold, but it's
It's
going to
hot
be wet
and
there.
Yeah, it'll definitely be wet.
Yep.
So I think it's that list, those 3 Swedes. And I mean, there's more, right? But those 3 Swedes and Ulrike are probably, if I were betting, I'd have them as close to even odds to be that next one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the logical thing. Sarah Backstrom, she ended up getting second place, about 5 minutes behind Elisa in the European Championship in Italy about a month or so ago. So she definitely deserves a spot up there. But there's one dark horse. Rich, I'm gonna have you try to pronounce this. Her name starts with an E.
All right. Challenge taken. I don't even see it.
From the Netherlands. 5th down.
Oh, man.
Elsa,
Elsa
nailed it.
Just Elsa.
Ripstra?
Yeah, I think it's Rijpstra.
Ripstra.
Yeah. She got 3rd there. She's a younger athlete who just graduated from college, and she ran at Nichols State University. Do you know where that is?
Mm-mm.
OCR Powerhouse.
I don't know where it is, but she came over from Europe and ran in the US from the Netherlands, but she was like a 36 teens 10K runner and just got 3rd in the European Championship. And she kind of has publicly stated that she has aspirations to be an OCR World Champion. Yeah, 17:25 5K.
All right.
36:11 10K. 3rd place European. She took several years off. When she was younger, she ended up doing 2017 OCR World 15K, and if you add elite and age group, she got 25th overall at that one in the UK. She also did 2018, but she DNF'd there. But she got 3rd overall. She won her age group in the 13 to 17-year-old division at 2017 Euros in the 15K. So she's been doing OCR for a while, took a break to run in college, but clearly her running is really good right now since she's a recent graduate, and I think she can make some noise.
Jack, can you see my cursor here?
Yeah.
Is this right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Golovkina. She's made podium at Savage Race.
Some stadium races I've seen the name before.
I mean, she's not an OCR powerhouse household name right now, but she's a very competent obstacle course racer.
Representing for the US of A. Got Vivian Tran out here too.
I would say they're
races.
probably roughly on the same level.
Okay. Then Ashley Heller, Casey Monroe, rounding out our U.S. contingent with Nicole Merkel, of course.
There's
Did
one
Annie
other-
Doobie have any interest?
She just had
got
ankle
foot
surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, she did.
She did have
Yeah.
interest, but she had to pull the plug. Yeah, she's laid up for a little bit.
Yep.
And
There's one other athlete who I think is going to do really well. From Canada, Beatrice Moyon Silvestre. She was a 2:12 800 runner who I think she got 2nd or 3rd at like the Ninja World Championship Like she's really good at obstacles and has some solid foot speed. And I think she's run like 7 or 8 races for Spartan, and she's only lost one of them up in Canada in the past year or so. So she's another name. Lisa Musakio was no, it wasn't. Someone up in Canada. She's pretty much the best now that Lindsay's not there. So she can make some noise also.
Got you. Great.
That's a
Great
good
pull.
combination if she has 15K of running in her legs.
Yeah. 3K should be a problem.
Yeah,
100,
3K for sure.
100, problem.
Yeah, 212 800 and 58 400. So she was definitely on the speed end.
Be the fastest 400 in HYROX
on the men's
on the
field.
men's side.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a Ninja World Championship? Is it always the show, or they have their own stuff like OCR has too, where it's like 100 different World Championships? I know there's a couple different.
Okay, so
like,
I just looked at it. It was 9th at the 2021 Ninja UNAA, so the Ninja World Championship. You go on her Instagram, she can move through obstacles. So if it gets wet, gets tricky.
Do you think there's more Ninja Championships and OCR Championships, or less?
Gotta be. Oh, that's actually a really good question.
I bet it's close. I bet they got championships for days.
Yeah. All the divisions. They've got 40, 60, 80, 20, 100. Like, they've got options for that.
That's true. They can change the courses.
This is kind of adjacent, but I had a realization this weekend. We saw some people I hadn't seen in a while. They asked if I was still doing that Tough Mudder thing.
That weird thing.
And someone with them was like, "What's that? What do you do?" I said, "Well, I don't." But what I did was, and as I'm explaining it, I realized we're hypocrites. Our whole sport is goofy games.
I know. I skip over my OCR career sometimes. I'm like, then I was doing HYROX.
Yeah.
Do you just say that it's basically CrossFit light with running? Is that kind of how you describe it? Or?
Yeah, it's like CrossFit with distance running, but OCR, it's kind of, I said distance running mixed with Ninja Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely
OCR is
not,
goofy games.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit me this weekend. I'm a goofy games athlete.
Yeah. That's why the goofy games are attractive to the community. They're like, nice. I've been
Gateway
doing that.
drug.
I've been
Decent
doing
at a
that
bunch of
goofy shit
stuff
for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, Spartan had memory tests,
It's goofy.
right? Like,
Yeah.
That's
they
super
had
goofy.
they had stuff. What was the goofiest thing Spartan ever did
It's got to be memory tests.
outside of
Oh,
memory
my
tests?
goodness.
Not give you the course map, have surprise obstacles, that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
Right.
What was it called? It wasn't
like
called the
question marks.
gamble.
I
It was
don't know.
short-lived. You get to a fork in the road and you had to choose a longer route with a more technical obstacle or a shorter route with a heavier. So the example would be like a route with a crawl and 3 walls, or a short one with tire flips.
They had that in Spartan?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I thought that was the Battle Frog thing. They had their
cool.
ski slope idea where it was like, here's the hard way or the easy way.
And what ended up happening is that whatever first place took, everyone went down there because they are terrified at
Cutting the course.
choosing, like, at least we're all together and we can see each other. Finding out that someone like just got a huge advantage or disadvantage the other way.
Yeah, that's pretty goofy.
It didn't last long.
What was the Spartans with the with the Q-tips
sticks?
Yeah, at the end.
That's stupid.
That's pretty goofy.
Laser pistols up there.
Laser pistols up there. That's in the Olympics, dude. Relax.
Not for
Let's-
long.
Let's talk about the
All right.
dudes.
No. Go back to the women. I want to hear your picks. Top 3. Just pick the podium. We deserve that if we're not doing a draft.
Oh man,
Only
I
the two.
just
In order, Bracken, you are not allowed to be like, it's probably these people in some 1, 2, 3 order.
I've told you many times, do not try to make me change my moral code. I'm done with predictions. I'm hyping everybody. But I will say this.
Yes.
I have never seen someone as fast and as good at obstacles as Nicole Miracle. If I
gotta
had
go,
to bet
Nicole.
my life
You got to go
on
Nicole.
a fast obstacle course race, I'd be okay if it had to be on her.
Is she going to win both distances?
Oh, I don't know.
This is why I didn't want to draft for this, because I don't know what any of these obstacles look like. I don't know what's going to be out
Well,
there.
we
I don't
already
know what
said
any of
that
these athletes are going to be like.
the
So, like,
15K is going to be more Spartan-like.
Maybe.
what's that mean? Does that mean double sandbag? Or does that mean just easy, less technical obstacles? Because if it's the latter,
Sandbag,
Nicole
that's
murders everybody. If it's the
Did you
former,
see a lot of it's grass and dirt roads and gravel?
the thing
Who's
that
going to run with her?
that's what I'm saying. If there's not like a monster carry in there or something like that, which there probably won't be.
Elisa Petrova is the best female obstacle course racer of the past, say, 18 to 24 months on planet Earth.
Yeah.
But this is Nicole Miracle's course
Yeah.
to win. This is her weekend to win or to lose.
Nicole, Alyssa, and then just based off of recency, got to go Ulrike.
I'm just
That's
a
what I'm
little nervous about her elbow on technical stuff, and I know it didn't really impact it on
Mhm.
the ultra course, so I could be wrong there.
I'm
That
saying
just makes me a
15K.
little nervous.
15K.
15K.
3K, who knows? Do they do this like OCR World Championships where it's
That's the thing we-
time trial? Or is it all one big field running out?
Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, let me pull this up. Can I
While
do a
he
screen?
does that,
Taking
it's
over?
like we don't know if this is going to be Euro OCR 3K, where the goal is to finish. And if you do, you are on a podium.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's weird not having the template of what they're going to use.
Could
Rich,
we not?
I'm-
Could we watch this at all last year? I don't remember. I don't remember watching. I definitely didn't watch it, but could we watch it?
Yeah. Rich, you see, last year there
don't
was
know.
some issue with like Bracken signing up for something for $1. I remember that, but I don't remember the
There was a
outcome.
fake website link
yeah,
that
yeah.
got put out that was
He's
trying to
st-
make you pay.
He's still getting
Yeah.
like texts and emails about it.
I didn't pay, but yeah, you should see some of the offers I get from some of these places.
Yeah. All right. So here are
I can
the
get you anything at this point.
from what it looks like in the 3K and the 15K, they're sending them out in different waves. So wave 1, you're going to be having Elisa and Nicole and Ulrika, Maya Wellner, Sarah Beckstrom, and Henriette Bardum.
This is like the
All
seeding. You know this?
It
Do
had it in the attachment.
countries seed them. Oh no, because there's two Sweden.
No, so basically the file that I received had like it gave you your gender and then it said wave and it was like MA, MB, MC, like male A, male B,
Ah,
male
that's
C. And I
kinda
just
cool.
did 1, 2, 3 because it's easier to look at. But here's what it's going to be. So you have the most of the top talent in this first wave, realistically. But I think a couple names are gonna
Is this
Only makes sense if you have a real way to rank them.
I know.
right?
And like the confusing thing is
Right.
it's like, all right, we're looking at the 3K where you have Yoey in wave 2, but she's in wave 1 of this one.
They
of
send
the-
it off in waves in the 15K too.
Yeah, that was what they did. Remember Yesterday and
Yeah.
Stein had that issue.
Yeah, but I thought that was a different thing. I thought that was a different
That was
federation. I think-
Euro.
but for FISO, but for World
It's
Obstacle.
under World Obstacle banner,
Oh, it was.
isn't it?
I don't know, dude. I can't keep this shit
Oh,
straight.
But this is the
but-
problem. If you create a brand new federation and world championship, you get to do the best thing possible. You get to make it however you want. And this is what we have.
Mhm.
We have the opportunity for someone to win from a different race that never raced against the other person or lose because we're
OCR
creating a problem that doesn't need to exist.
Adventury has done this for years, and we saw an issue when Ryan Atkins won the 3K despite not beating John Albin head to head because they were in separate waves. 2016 and in Canada.
I
Three
know we
people from a different wave made the top 10 that day.
I know we get killed often for being critical of things that we're not at. Like we're gonna be like, this doesn't make any sense to us. Like but people are like, oh, you weren't there, you know how great it was, or whatever, blah blah blah. OCR is already hard to watch. So when you put a 15K race and you split it into 7 different heats, how are we supposed to watch this? How is it supposed to be consumed? How is how's it exciting at all? What are we talking about here?
Nothing
It'll
on
string
screen
out
means
naturally.
anything.
Yeah, but like, what if someone in like the 3rd heat that we don't know about ends up in
Yeah.
3rd place?
I think that's
Yeah.
what Jack's saying. It's going to string out naturally. If you just course
exactly.
design it
Yeah.
so that you don't have an issue for the first kilometer, you're fine.
Then you know what you're watching.
Could you imagine having like a cross country invitational where they're like, all right, we've got this giant field, but we're only going to send out like 10 teams at a time. And then 5 minutes later, the next seeds 11 through 20, bring up your 7-man roster. And then you're going to go and
Right.
then we're going to aggregate it at the end. And it just doesn't make sense.
Like, it's
Well,
not-
where's your girl from Canada, Beatrice? She's in wave 5 for the
6.
15K and
6,
wave
yeah.
6 for the 3K.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good luck winning your championship.
I know, but she might pick people out. Like Sandy just got 3rd at Spartan World Champs and is in heat 3 for both of them.
Right. Hey, good luck finding out how you, and that's the other thing, right? On courses like this, it's really hard to tell what your fitness is like if you're not next to other people.
Yeah.
Good luck finding out how well your training went. You don't get to compare yourself to Alyssa, to Nicole, to Ulrike.
And,
yeah,
and this is
isn't-
this is my interpretation of what it's, but it seems pretty obvious when they have an A next to their name, a B next to their name, a C, that those are separate heats when it's in the wave column. So that's what I'm going off of. I hope I'm wrong and they set them off all together, but we saw this happen at Europeans already, and it could easily be the same again.
Yeah, the only thing this is good for is like course control. Like, this isn't good for the viewer, the
Yeah.
fans, us. It's not good for the athlete. It has to be
Mm-mm.
incredibly frustrating. Imagine being Yoey Bowling here.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Like, I'm in heat 2.
You
What
also
the-
crossed the finish line in wave 1 with a question mark.
It's like, we'll see. I
Like,
don't know
that
how well I
finish
did.
line
gotta wait.
moment, you outkick someone for 3rd place and you don't just like collapse into glory. You have to wait.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's tough.
One at a time
Whatever.
or everyone at a time.
Are there any other time trial sports that you can think of?
Cycling,
Nordic
right?
cycling.
Whatever
Yeah, I guess in Tour de France, they have some road courses where it's like, here's the time trial stage, send them off 30 seconds or a minute apart.
The Olympics has the road time trial.
Mm-hmm.
They're things, but guess how many go out at a time? One.
We don't-
Maximum of 2 for Nordic sports.
And we don't watch that shit.
I do. But at least everyone operates under the same rules and understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just, I don't know. All right, let's look at the dudes.
Yep. Just doing the seeds, but yeah, feel free to.
I'm sure
Yep.
people are getting tired of us, and in particular me, railing against the time trial versus heat format. But my goodness, until you fix it, I'm going to just be whinging about it.
Like,
to
the
use
athletes
the
that, like-
Brisbane term.
I feel like we're being positive about this race in general because it is one of the more stacked fields that we're seeing and athletes that we know and that we like and we want to see do well. But we're not going to be able to watch it.
The thing that I think that they might be trying to do is mimic track swimming or swimming. You're never allowed to have more than 8 or 9 at a time because you're limited by the size, but
Yeah.
that's not the finals.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you can and
Qualifiers, it's okay.
and
You
you can-
can't during the finals.
You can watch it. You can see the entire race in a pool because it's 25 meters or yards or whatever it is. And now it's like, or the people are going to disappear into the jungle.
15K. Imagine starting the Olympic marathon in waves of like 6 to 7.
Yeah, even the 10K. Imagine that. Like,
10K.
that'd be
Oh,
Insane.
it's just so unnecessary to even deal. This is a self-created problem. This doesn't exist. This problem doesn't exist, and they created it and now won't fix it.
it's like, let's see who the best is at getting from point A to point B by
So
themselves.
I told you this last time, but I was on a UK OCR podcast a couple weeks ago.
I saw you were on a
Yep.
different one too. You're just out here.
Jeez.
That
spreading
was
the
it. They
word.
just posted it. It just went live.
Oh, okay.
Same
mind.
one.
It's like double dipping.
God,
Are you
no,
the European
God.
expert now?
My bad.
Anyway, I asked them, I said, so, because they listen. I was like, tell me, what's your reaction when we rail against this on and on? And they're like, no, I mean, like, we disagree with some things you talk about or athletes you miss from the UK, or from Europe, but no one wants waves. All we want to do is compete against. And these are athletes who compete at this, who compete at Euros and 3K and 15. They're like, we do not want Jessa and Stein to not be head to head at the end. They said, no one likes this.
It's also a 3-band system for failing, so that can play a role in this. But it's like, let people string out, and then if they lose a band, that's on them. But I don't think you're going to have these massive backups with 40 to 50 people per gender in the elite heat. I could see string, in the age group divisions, you can, space them out a little bit more. but have everyone go head to head in this type of race. We saw it in the Spartan 3K, even 1,000-meter
All right.
rounds.
All right, let's move along. We don't like it.
I said I wasn't going to be negative today.
Yeah.
Rich knew it was a lie.
That was not even true, not from even the start. You're out here baiting people into negativity.
Bracken's negative on OCR. Rich doesn't like HYROX fast times. Just
Welcome to Race Brain Podcast.
I
Guys,
love OCR. I don't trust these
That's true.
federations.
That's true.
I'm giving it a chance because last year was pretty solid and well received.
You can put on a great race
Yeah.
and not be above board or not be trustworthy. It's
So
going to be a great
good,
race.
We got some good names out here on the men's side as well.
Share on
Igor
screen.
Belisouv is one of them. I'm not sharing
You don't
screen
have it
yet.
on
I
the screen
will.
yet. Oh, okay.
I will share this right now. It's not sharing?
Sharon.
What am I looking at?
Oh, it was Zoom. Just a
Oh,
link.
just the back of the Zoom.
That's the browser.
So when we look at that, we have Hugo Godoy is a good name, correct, Jack? That's a name
He's-
I've
yeah.
heard you
Yeah,
say.
he races in North America and South America.
Right, from Chile.
Plenty of podiums.
Yes, De Haer is a big name in this space.
You
Leon
just skipped
Kofod.
over the double OCR World's second place finisher, Ian Hosick.
Can't not mention him. Yeah. Then we got some of our favorites: Logan Broadbent, Marquez Green.
I've raced both of those gentlemen, and they say I'm not in the sport. I've raced them both in the calendar year.
That's true.
And you beat them, right?
I did not beat Marquez. He beat me by 6 seconds.
Close. Didn't give him that finishing kick that we've seen out in City Field that Kempson will never forget. Stein Legrand, is that who you have right now on top of the power rankings, Jack?
Yeah. Say so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It doesn't gotta. But we got some good names here. So
you want to know what I'm most pumped about? Mervin Guarte. He ended up finding his way out of the dunk wall finally.
Yes.
And he's allegedly going to be in Costa Rica 3 years later after leaving Abu Dhabi. So
the magician's back.
Stuck on the slip wall.
Slip wall, yeah.
I'm excited for Jesse versus Stein. Stein.
That's what we're looking at,
exciting.
especially 3K, right?
Yeah.
Jesse is very solid at the shorter distances. I mean, he's a great overall OCR athlete, but he excels a little bit more in the shorter stuff, correct?
Yes. So he actually ended up getting second place in the 15K at European Champs this past year.
In the second heat?
3 seconds behind, and he wasn't even in the same heat, so he was time trialing it. So
this is how they settle it. Assuming they're in the same wave.
Yeah. Because if I'm looking at Jesse De Haer, World Obstacle, he got second in the 3K last year, the 14K, he got 9th. So yes, he's definitely better at the shorter stuff, but double second place in the 3K and 15K this past year at European Champs, first in the 3K, second in the 12K, and in 2023, numerous other top 5 to 12 or so finishes. He got 6th at the 3K at OCR Worlds before. So he is definitely looking more forward to the 3K, I'd say.
This is interesting because I think we would say, just like Elisa, Stein has been the best all-around OCR athlete since Spartan Race World Championships. So the only person who might think that that's not true is in this race, and that's Jesse. Jesse might look at him and say, listen, I am every bit as good as you, and I can't wait to prove it. So hopefully they're in the same wave. I'm sure Jack's going to show us in a second whether they are or not.
I do have it, and we can get to it in a sec. But yeah,
But that's the battle. This is for current supremacy in the sport.
And I think Stein is probably a little mad about getting 4th and 5th, missing the podium last year in both distances. And he's tough to beat at the moment. Double first place in the 3K, 15K European Champs. And he ended up winning the 15K in 2023 or the 12K in 2023 and 5th in the 3K. So just looking at it, you'd assume that the longer would be the distance that he would probably come out on top if we're saying that Jesse is going to be better at the shorter.
We'll see how Leon bounces back. He's been one of the better names in OCR for, especially in obstacle dense things. He didn't have a great result in at Euros, so
10th
we'll
and
see.
13th. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how he kind of bounces back. He's turning. He's kind of now more boom or bust, but he's had some really solid results in the last 2 to 3 years.
He's
So
very reliable in the 3K, and his engine has grown considerably because he did get third at OCR Worlds in the 15K,
mhm.
which was kind of a surprise. He was like, I did not expect the 15K to be the distance that he finally got on the podium for.
I'm excited to watch Logan.
Yeah,
We've been talking about his Ninja Warrior background for years, and we don't really get to see him use it.
Yeah.
Should be able to
Boomer-
use it here in the 3K.
Boomerang World Champ this year, I believe.
It's his year.
Very
He's on
recently.
tilt.
He's gonna keep. He's another way. It's just like he's probably going because it is in Central America. He's like, that sounds great. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what type of fitness is. He's always in pretty good marathon shape.
Yeah.
He's in good athletic shape because the boomerang stuff is pretty. You have to have some high athleticism. So he seems to have that.
And let's not forget that he was leading West Virginia for a while at the North American Champs, so he can run on this like wet type of terrain.
He has
This-
no
I
problem
think-
with nasty terrain.
Yes.
He enjoys that, in fact. So yeah, he might. Well,
He just doesn't like cold, and this isn't going to be cold.
Not gonna be cold.
No.
Would we think he's gonna be the top finisher for us? Tim Marquez.
I mean-
Sam Osborne,
Ethan Brown.
and Brown.
I don't know how Marquez's prep has gone, but I think he has a bigger ceiling than what he's shown. I think we haven't seen him yet pop something, and he could, but I think the safe bet is Logan's the top finisher.
Yeah. I would say
Ian,
so also.
Ian has as good of accolades as anyone on this list, but when we haven't seen it at non-high altitude racing in a while.
He got killed here last year.
Yeah, he got 34th in the elite race, and he only ran the 15K, which is kind of his approach here. But then he later in the year got second place in both of the OCR Worlds. We've seen him get
Not as
fourth
strong
and
of a field,
sixth and
though.
eighth. Yeah,
that
but
was
I
not a
think
very strong field.
he needs mountains to do well typically.
The way that some people are great compromised runners, his altitude compromised running is that
Yeah.
he is so dialed for high altitude racing. He does extremely well at those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the order of finish here will not be the same if everybody went to Mammoth. Same exact people.
Oh, for sure.
Ian would be one of those who just skyrockets up the leaderboard.
Jack, let's see those heats.
Yep.
So who's the third spot we're looking at then? If we like Steen, we like.
Well, last
Yes,
year, Igor Belisov ended up winning the race.
He's a dog, man. He shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take a look at the heats right here.
We haven't gotten that first heat.
So here's the issue that I have. It looks like they put a local athlete from Costa Rica who I have
Nice.
never heard of, and I've heard of everybody. Maybe he's good, but you're telling me that some of the other athletes below him are not going to get into this first heat just so they can put someone in there who's local.
This is Brackett's point. Crooked as could be.
Frank, Martin Backstrom, they should definitely be up there. Let's see. Samuel A. Bear in Heat 7.
He could be really good at this.
Ethan Heat 8. Like Logan in Heat 10. What?
Dang.
Logan has a podium at OCR Worlds.
It's annoying.
Not FISO, though. Not at FISO.
Ian Hosick in Heat 3.
That's fine.
Like, yeah. I don't know. There are just some questionable.
Where's Logan in this one?
He's probably all the way at the bottom for that, too.
He's the
That
last.
Last.
So, like, what do you do? What do you do?
You
That
run your
sucks.
heart out.
Who knows?
Run and
Maybe it'll
win.
help him in the 3K because the first pack are going to battle and fight because they're going to hack race
people might
because that's
fail.
what happens when you mass
Yeah.
start.
Totally.
Yeah.
But in a
This first
15K,
heat- Hold on, I've got to plug in my laptop.
Oh, boy.
unreal. Who else got screwed?
So-
This is fun.
Let's see. Marquez is down. I'm just trying to see the names I recognize here. I don't know. Yeah, no, but you got. I think Igor's right for the rounding out the podium, probably for both.
Yeah, I mean, Igor was double podium at OCR Worlds, and he a couple years ago at Stratton, and then he won the 14K last year. So
Wait, so
I
they're
would
sending
like
out.
to see Moya subbed out for one of the worst ranked people in the field, which would be Logan.
yeah,
So they're
I don't know.
sending
It's
out
just
smaller waves for the 15K than the 3K.
yeah,
So are
it's
they
really
doing men
weird.
and women at the same time?
They have 6 or 5, and then 6, 6, 6, 6, and then some 5. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. If we're looking at this heat, that like these guys should all finish in the top 10 and probably have the highest probability of finishing in the top 5 realistically. Like Nikita Kryukov from Russia, he was that Olympic gold medalist in cross country skiing, but he's a monster at tough obstacles and a lot of like bison race and some of the other ones over in Russia. Igor, like we mentioned, and Leon, of course, should be in there for the 3K, and Yessa and Stein are probably the 2 heavy favorites. But we'll see.
We gonna
Is
see.
Kryukov not doing the 15?
No, he's only in the 3K.
You'd think a cross country skier would get better as it goes.
You'd think, but he did that at OCR Worlds also. If I look at Nikita, where is he? So yeah, he ended up getting 5th last year in the 3K, and European OCR champs. He's 4th both of those 2 races. So, or the past 2 years, and 10th in the 15K. So I would say he is definitely someone who can and probably will be in the top 5.
All right. I think we did it.
But we have to mention who's gonna be in it. Do your top 3 predictions.
We don't have to do anything.
It's top 3. You got out of a draft. We at least have to mention who's gonna be good.
I'm saying Stein, Yessa, and Igor. I'm saying it the whole
How
time.
about this? I'm calling a podium in both races from someone not in wave 1.
Oh,
What kind of odds you get for that, you think? That's like a good prop bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at
Probably
that.
not great odds. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it.
yeah. I would say in the 3K. Yes,
Ricky never goes chalk ever.
I know. There'll be people you just have no idea. Something can happen. I mean, it's going to be wet, right? Like, it's going to be humid.
And in a short race, if you are close, if you just get on a run, if you see success out there, it's such a lactate overload that if you get some sort of semblance of rhythm going, you just crush people. And so the people on the back half of wave 1 who are getting dropped cannot finish strong. And someone from a different wave that wins their wave and is catching people the wave ahead and starts getting on tilt a little bit, it just shakes everything up. There's no way for all the people in the first wave to go in order.
No. I'm gonna go Yessa, Stein, Leon in the 3K, and Stein, Igor, Yessa for the 15K.
I like it.
It'd be easier to predict if we knew what kind of course this was.
Franco Sturm might get 4th in both of them.
What if there was laser pistols up in here?
Leon's
have
got
to be, right?
practice.
How does that change things?
There's definitely gonna be pistols.
Yeah.
Pew. All right, Jack, you got. Let's move along. Check out FISO. However
you can.
We don't know how. We don't know how this is.
I'm gonna check their Instagram and everyone's and see if anyone's saying anything. A lot of people talking.
A lot of people asking us. We're going on to DEKAFIT. When I say DEKA, you say fit. In Pennsylvania, Oaks, Pennsylvania. This is the second to last stop. BK looks like he's got something.
No, I don't have something anymore.
nothing.
I just lost 2 Strava segments.
Oh,
that's
you
rough.
found out just now? Which ones?
I checked the phone.
Long ones?
Crown has been taken.
Like short ones or long ones?
Oh, I'm not even checking. It's on a trail. I think one's like 0.6 and one's like 0.4.
You can get those back.
Yeah, that's easy.
You can get those back. Tough ones are where they're like the long ones. You're like, man.
I'm going to be
Bracken.
emotionally compromised the rest of this. You guys go on without me.
Like a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, I took a segment at Stratton Open Space from your brother. He was pissed. And I
Going
was
down
like,
the switchback?
so right near the reservoir, they rebuilt the trail coming from Gold Camp Road. You know how it used to be like maybe a 3-4 minute descent, and then you end up near the higher reservoir, and you kind of follow this gate.
Which one are you talking? Shoots or Columbine or what?
Upper Columbine, I believe. Not upper. Honestly, I'd have to check. Doesn't matter. I'll message
better
you
come
after
correct with
and
these
show
trails
you
you
what
were
it is. I
talking,
know.
FKTs.
Yeah, but I crushed that one. So,
Good for you.
Macaulay,
BK,
no
speaking
longer on the leaderboard.
Speaking of Macaulay, we had a camp this weekend out in Lyons, and Kent, I don't know, I'm sure Kent brought it up on his own. Started talking about the selection, so we popped it on the TV. Got a good look at Macaulay out there. Just glimpses, actually.
Briefly, because he was
very
gone.
short. He was in and out. Yeah. He was in and out. Fuck all that.
Yeah.
All right. Jack,
He was
what we got?
around long enough to get tear gassed.
Oh, he did stick around for the tear gas?
Oh, he made it kind of, I mean, not to the, they compressed thing. I'm sure Kent told you, but
In the first, he was out of from the first episode. The first
Correct.
episode had the tear gas, but that doesn't mean that was like 10 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
Right.
They edit stuff.
They
it
had
was
some
like 10 or 12 hours or something.
they had some physical something or other going on.
That box, Kent told me some horror stories.
I haven't gotten that far into that episode.
Ugh.
I've only seen episode 1 twice now.
It was binge worthy. Episode 2, you should give that a shot because it's not episode 1.
Okay, I have a post to read to you. I need your reaction.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a celebration post. Get ready to witness history. The next time the Summer Olympics light up the world, obstacle sports will be front and center in LA 2028.
Is that true?
Survey said that was a lie. We're beyond excited to see our sport take the Olympic stage, marking a monumental leap for the global obstacle community. It's more than just a milestone, it's the future of our sport. Let's make history together.
This is referring to pentathlon?
It has to be, right?
Yeah, because that's not really not saying anything.
No,
It's-
and it says
We're
obstacles.
not in the Olympics. Let's just be clear about that.
and then can be front and center.
No.
Sorry, 100 meters. Got this
Yeah.
big old intro coming
Sorry,
up.
basketball in the United
Yeah.
States, like flag football people will care about more.
I will say, Rich, you cut me off a few episodes ago.
Damn right.
Ethan Brown came up, practiced the 100-meter course in Colorado Springs. I tested it out. It was actually
Boo.
kind of fun.
Boo.
I
I'm
didn't
sure
expect
it's
it.
fun
I know.
because it's like what little kids do at birthday parties.
That's kind of what I felt like, honestly. Yeah. No bounce house, but like the next best thing.
Laser
Yeah, but
tag's fun.
laser
Yeah.
tag's really fun.
But it's not an Olympic sport in that format. By the way, Rylan is deadly at laser tag. I think he might be the best in the world at that. He's so good.
At laser tag, there's tactical games training
Yeah.
paying
real
off.
good.
Also, never mind. Keep going.
All right. When I say DEKA,
I'm gonna be so
I say
positive.
fit. That's now we're moving on to one of our favorite race organizers, Spartan Race, putting on a DEKAFIT. This is the second to last race of the season here in the United States. I don't know what they got going on.
They have one road show in the UK that will also count towards Worlds if you run fast
Okay.
enough.
So your World Championship qualifying opportunities are dwindling in the FIT. So we have an East Coast, this is our first Northeast event of the season, really the only one that you get. So last year we saw a good variety of names pop up to this one. So Jack, what do we got in terms of the field for DEKAFIT Oaks?
All right. So if we go top to bottom, fastest seas, we've got David Magida making his season debut.
Wow.
Second place last year at World Championships. He's got those 3 career team World Championship titles. You know, he's loving all this.
He'll tell you about him.
Yep. Joseph Cotto. He's in there. 30-31 PR. He got 6th last year. DEKAFIT World Champs. Always a podium threat whenever he steps on in a local race. Grayson Kilgore flying in from Idaho,
Wow.
I believe.
Jeez.
Yeah, 31-12. He was 10th in the mile, 13th in strong last year at World Champs. He didn't run
I think
fit.
he's top in the mile right now.
He might be.
Or it's
but
second. There's a time that of someone I've never heard of.
yeah,
leading the way
questionable.
there. Yeah.
But Grayson, I think he wants to break 31. Mark Polzin, who's fresh off a 2:57 second place finish at the Ultra, 31:20 PR. He's going to be there. And then we've got Alexander Rakovic, who got 5th at his debut in Fort Wayne. 6th right behind him was Adam Beach, who just came off of 15:25 5K in running in college at Cortland State. And Alex last year ran at Loyola, and he's got a 14:34 5K. So a couple 32 low guys in their debut. I think that they're going to move up the leaderboard for sure.
Yeah,
What are
this
your
is
thoughts?
this is going to be a really solid field. DEKAFIT's tricky though, especially on your second one. You do one, you're like, your next one, I'm gonna go out. I'm just gonna go faster. Doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work like that. Big time trap.
Couple other names. Stephen Young's returning. Rich,
Yeah.
how's he going to do?
That'll be good. Got more experience
good.
under his belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about second race doesn't go how it should. Now here's your second race.
Well, when your first race doesn't
Yeah.
First race doesn't go well. Second race will typically go better, but your first race goes well.
Yeah.
Second race doesn't always just progress.
Yeah. Law of averages. Yeah. Jack Driscoll is going to be here.
Nice. He
That'll
ran
be
last year
interesting.
here. He ran last year.
Yeah. He only went 36:02, but he's got a 20:11 for the mile and a 64 something for his HYROX, and he just
He's
won
improved
rally at the
significantly.
Valley.
Yep.
He'll improve certainly. He's in heat 1. Thomas Ciccarelli, Dustin Needham, Max Fennell, Benjamin Harris, Mike St. George, another Philly area guy. So we've got pretty, the next pack is pretty deep also. See how that goes.
We'll see about Magida. Magida is the big question mark. This returning silver medalist.
Yeah.
He was a question mark right up until the point he took that silver medal.
Totally.
I'm curious about a guy like Mark Paulzine, where he's been working to get that engine. We saw in the Olympics, people who did volume, it seemed to work out.
Always.
And Mark definitely did volume training for that ultra. He averaged 35 low for all of his laps for the ultra, and he's a 31:20 PR guy. So I don't know. I feel like he's gonna make a move, and Alex and Adam, they're gonna move up also. They're gonna be in the 31s for sure.
Is David Magida the best at the wallovers in the entire world?
I don't know.
Is anyone more effortless on those or casual?
It's very light for him. Strong man.
He's
Yep.
just.
Is his birthday today? Or was that yesterday?
It is today. Yeah.
Happy
Now he's
birthday,
got-
David.
Happy birthday, David. Won't
Big
say it in the
time-
group chat, but you'll get it on the
Big time
podcast.
old man strength.
How old is he now?
39.
39.
Is he
Oh,
really?
yep.
Yeah, man.
Off a cliff. Sorry.
85?
Sucks.
Wow.
I know. We graduated the same year, so all my buddies are turning 39, and I'm like, man, this sucks. Next year he's gonna
I
be
don't like
40,
this.
bro.
What are you,
That's how
Jack?
that works.
I turned 35 in 2 weeks.
Oh, young man. I just
On
turned
the-
37.
My birthday is going to be our fantasy football draft. So
Woo!
things I'm doing. But
That's a great way to celebrate a birthday
Yeah.
if it goes well,
with all of us.
yeah,
We're going to be
All right.
super nice to you.
I'm sure you
Right
will.
now, we're thinking it's 15 for DEKA this year. Have we been told?
It is 15. Yancey said it.
What about open?
for
It's
age group?
15 across the board.
15
Everything.
across the board?
Yeah.
One
Sorry,
heat.
age group.
One heat for everything, 15.
Yeah.
Wonder where they
Rich,
got
can
that
you
number
pull-
from.
Can you pull up the leaderboard? Yeah, where'd they get it from? Not
I
HYROX.
sure can.
Because I think we're going to
this is
see some
fit.
movement.
So you like the idea of
Filter it by men because Lauren's on this, which is insane that she's one
Right.
place
Have you seen the
behind
age
Tomas
group
to be up there.
leaderboard right now?
I have
No.
not.
You should check it.
Okay.
Just for flags.
Oh, there was one guy in DEKA Strong who was ahead of Kevin Gregory, and he's 9 years old or something.
Oh, I saw
was in the-
something like that.
He was
yeah,
in the
too.
wrong way.
There's a guy in the UK in the mile too who's 40
Yeah.
plus. who
Just
was-
click age group right now and
For
just
fit?
look for fit.
male.
So age, you'd think Dylan would. That seems fine.
Look at Spain.
Spain just ripping.
Rushing.
Jose's are out here.
I mean, if you look at the elite, also they've
Wow.
got several
This is
fast
fine,
guys
true.
in Spain. Wow, Spain is Taylor Haney behind a lot of these
Who
guys.
was world champ last year?
Yeah,
I think triple crown.
John Walkington. He podiumed age group last year.
And this actually looks like we might have.
I hope we see some. I wonder if some Spanish athletes will come over to lovely Ocala.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the the elite just to see how this is going. So Dylan, Isaac, Nick, Colin, I imagine they're all going. Glenn, Grayson, Keith, Cole, Joseph. So that's 9.
They'll definitely all go. Yeah.
So, and they're all 31-23. It's going to take a lot to kick them out of the top 15. So I'd say we probably have 2/3 of the men's field already locked up.
No.
Yeah.
2/3?
Yeah. 10 of the 15 spots. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who haven't done one this year.
Okay. So David Magida is new.
Yeah.
In this race. Joseph Cotto already on the list. Grayson already on the list. And then it's Mark Polzin, Alexander Rakovic, and then Adam Beach, who are just outside. The 3 of them could move up, but I think that they're contenders more for like 11 to 15 than.
So you don't think
rest.
Ocala's going to have any?
They probably will.
Maybe a Ryan Kent.
You think
Rich,
he's
you
doing it?
done?
I'm out. Kent's been kicking around the idea. He said yes, then he said no. So I think last time I asked him, which was like yesterday, he said no. But
I mean, realistically,
He
world
changes.
champs, Florida's pretty close to South Carolina where he's at right now.
mm-hmm.
Seems like a good idea. But yeah, we'll see. I'm in 26. I'm gonna guess like 3 or 4 international people will not end up racing. So it's probably you might have a couple show up, but
So you
Alphonse
think
might
this
just
will
be
just
buried
be
in-
a down year in the sport? Bunch of people checking out, not coming back.
I mean, time-wise, it's still legit, but you don't have the
Yeah.
name recognition at the top.
I'm
Right.
saying
Like-
guys that have been top 10 at Worlds every year, not showing up this year.
It's like Rich focusing on HYROX, Rylan dealing with the respiratory issue. Kent, haven't really seen him. I guess the big names that would be missing would be who? Like Magida, he's not on the list.
Yep.
Riker already got his mark. Isaac,
I mean,
Dylan.
you just said 3 people who have podiums.
I know that. I'm saying so bump everything down by 3, but the rest, it's not as top heavy for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
the
feel
depth
like
is good.
Dylan kind of has moved up into that spot at this point.
Got to watch out for my guy Hayden Warner. He came out to the camp out here. He has
Cyclist, right?
major cycling background. We got him on the assault bike this weekend, and he can hammer. Powerful dude, big engine. Just got to work on his running. 32 flat.
What's his build?
He's like 6'2", probably.
Okay.
6'2",
So real
probably
power.
180, 185.
Okay.
Just got to work on the running.
Yep. We'll see.
But 32 flat, I think. And he got second in the Ultra as well. And he was like, that shit was dumb. I wouldn't do it again. I was like, good. I won't do it for the first time.
All right. So
What we got on the
I think
ladies' side.
17 and 18, Alexander Rakovic and not Ronkovic, but Adam Beach and Alexander. I think the 2 of them will move into the top 15 after this race.
What we got on the ladies?
Women's race, number 1 seed. All she ever does is get top 4 or win DEKA World Championships. Alondra Greenlee making a return.
Nice. This will be her first this season?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
What are we expecting here? Any intel?
She's the biggest like mystery hit or miss. It's either a great race or a blow up. At least on the HYROX side, it seems. I don't know what to tell.
Yeah, I think the last time we really saw her was HYROX New York. And it wasn't in the form that we have seen her in the past. I have no idea. But DEKA is a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah.
She was dealing with some injury things, but now I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, and then the rest of the field, Bethany McChesney, who was 8th at last year's DEKAFIT World Champs, 9th place at DEKAFIT World Champs last year was Katie Duke, 10th was Michelle Navarro. So you've got 3 top 10 finishers with Alondra there. Katie D'Ambrosio, I'm real excited to see her. She got first in Sacramento in her debut, and she has that ultra background, 35-36, so that'll be good. Janelle Teal, who was 15th at DEKAFIT Worlds last year and got 6th at DEKA Strong World Champs. She's going to be really solid. And then a couple of David's athletes, Katie Howell and Alex Shabo from Elevate Fitness. They got 6th and 3rd respectively in North Carolina. That'll be interesting to see them. Jennifer Sagnoli, she won the 45 to 49 age group at the past DEKAFIT World Champs.
Yeah, she's
She's
a
got
beast,
a
dude. She's no joke.
37-39 PR, so definitely represent him for that age group. But she's doing elite this year.
They
Or
have changed it where
this
you
race.
can qualify for age group through elite.
It makes sense. Face the faster people, see where you go, and then
It made no sense that it wasn't that way.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think, and then a couple other, Dixie Bonner, she's making her DEKAFIT debut. She's got
She could be
14
good.
Spartan race podiums.
Oh, yeah.
Jessica Lister was 7th in Fort Wayne in the Ultra. She's broken 40. Then a couple other athletes who were, in the 25 or top 5 age group at DEKA World Champs last year. So I think we're going to see some fast times.
This is a good deep field.
Yeah.
It's going to be a matter of what happens up front.
Yep.
It's going to be fairly unknown.
Yeah. So 15th, 35-57 is the mark. And we've got Spain, Sweden, and it looks like Netherlands for 3 international spots, couple French, and rounding out the top 20. But I think it's mostly going to be American. Although Munza from Spain, she has done every single race over there. So
maybe she'll come over.
Maybe she will. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. But I don't know. How do you think it's going to go with Alondra? Is she the heavy favorite? Her PR would indicate so, and she always performs at Worlds, but I just don't know what kind of finish she's in.
I don't know either. I would not bet on it if she was the favorite, just for the sake of the value of the pick. But she could very well win. But it's hard to say.
If she's at what percentage would you have to put her at of her best to still win this thing?
Probably still like 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah. She still needs to be like up there, be able to run well. That's always she'll do well in the stations no matter what, but the running is what's going to be.
Yeah, her PR compared to the Bethany's PR, who has the second fastest, is 5.1% faster. So if she's at 95%, she should win.
Is OCR Report doing DEKA anymore?
I believe so. Yeah,
they are. So they will be out there, you think?
And it's been good coverage at the indoor events so far this year. So,
all right. So we'll have some stuff to talk about next week in terms of results for DEKAFIT, results for FISO, and that's really it. I'll be able to talk about what we think. Give us a better picture of what we're looking for DEKA Worlds, and if FISO is the World Championship of OCR.
For sure.
Anything else?
Hope we got to watch it. That'd be cool.
I wouldn't count on it.
I haven't seen anything. I was scouring. No intel. If you know, reach out and let us know, and we'll blast it out there.
Might end up being like Alula. Great race. No one saw it.
All right. Anything else we got? Let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for joining us today. We will talk to you soon.